Once he soared, once his name echoed in the halls of heroes, Aron the Dragon Rider. Now he was just another shadow in the city's underbelly. The world had changed. Magic, once a force for good, was now commonplace, powering everything from street lamps to flying carriages. Heroes were relics of a bygone era. Aron, his leathery face etched with time and hardship, huddled in a doorway. His once gleaming armor was now battered, his only possessions a chipped mug and a threadbare blanket. The city bustled around him, oblivious to the fallen hero in their midst. A pang of bitterness twisted in his gut. Forgotten, useless, alone. Sleep offered little respite. Dreams, once filled with the thrill of flight and the warmth of his dragon's scales, were now haunted by whispers of the past. He saw the faces of those he had saved, heard their cheers turn to distant echoes. He felt the wind in his hair, tasted the freedom of the skies, all gone. A single tear traced a path through the grime on his cheek. He was a warrior without a war, a protector without purpose. The world had moved on, leaving him behind. The weight of his past glory pressed down on him, a constant reminder of what he had lost. The hero reduced to a beggar, the legend, a forgotten tale. The gnawing hunger in his stomach was a constant companion. He spent his days begging for scraps, his pride swallowed with each mumbled plea. People hurried past, their eyes sliding away from his outstretched hand. Some, the younger ones, looked at him with curiosity, their gazes lingering on the chipped scales of his armor. They didn't understand. They had never known the terror of a dragon's fire, the despair of a world on the brink. They had never needed a hero. The day's meager offerings barely filled his belly. Despair threatened to consume him. Was this his fate, to fade away, forgotten and alone? The sky, once a tranquil blue, erupted in fire. Buildings shook, people screamed, and a primal fear gripped the city. Aron watched in horror as monstrous shapes, wreathed in flame and shadow, descended from the heavens. Their roars were like the death throes of a dying world. Panic seized the city. The magical lights flickered and died, plunging the streets into darkness. The air crackled with energy, the stench of sulfur stinging his nostrils. The years of hardship fell away. Instinct took over. This was a threat he recognized, a terror he knew how to fight. A desperate cry pierced the chaos. A child, separated from her parents, stood frozen in terror, the monstrous shadows closing in. Aron felt a surge of something long dormant within him. Purpose. He may be forgotten, but he was still a dragon rider, and a dragon rider never abandoned those in need. He pushed through the panicked crowd, his hand instinctively reaching for the sword that was no longer at his side. Even without a weapon, he would fight. He had to. The child's terror mirrored the fear he had seen in countless faces during the wars of his past. He wouldn't fail her. He couldn't. Deep within him, something stirred. A warmth spread through his chest. A familiar tingling sensation. It couldn't be. Not after all these years. He stumbled towards the alley where he had left his dragon, his heart pounding with a mixture of hope and disbelief. "Eldrin!" he rasped, his voice hoarse from disuse. A low rumble echoed from the shadows. Two eyes, glowing with an inner fire, emerged from the darkness. Eldrin, his dragon, his friend, was awake. Time and neglect had taken their toll, but beneath it all, Aron saw the same loyalty, the same fierce determination in his dragon's gaze. They were connected, two halves of a whole. Eldrin unfurled his wings, their leathery expanse brushing the sides of the alley. Aron climbed onto his back, the familiar feel of scales beneath his hands sending a thrill through him. They launched into the night sky, a fiery comet streaking toward the heart of the chaos. Below them the city burned, the screams of its citizens a symphony of despair. But above it all, silhouetted against the inferno, soared a symbol of hope. The dragon rider had returned. The wind whipped at Aron's face, carrying with it the stench of smoke and the raw energy of the invading creatures. He gripped Eldrin's scales, his heart thundering in his chest. Their appearance was met with gasps of awe and disbelief. The sight of a dragon rider, a legend come to life, ignited a spark of hope in the hearts of the despairing citizens. Aron, with Eldrin's fire at his command, battled the monstrous invaders. Each swing of his fiery sword, each blast of dragonfire was a testament to his rekindled purpose. He fought with a ferocity he hadn't felt in years, the years of bitterness and regret fueling his every move. He was no longer a forgotten relic, but a beacon of hope in the darkness. The tide of the battle began to turn. Inspired by the Dragon Rider's return, the city's defenders rallied, their fear replaced by a glimmer of hope. The last of the invaders fell, their forms dissolving into ash and shadow. Silence descended upon the ravaged city, broken only by the crackling of flames and the murmurs of the wounded. Aron, weary but exhilarated, landed Eldrin in the centre of the city square. He was no longer the forgotten hero, but a symbol of resilience, a testament to the enduring power of courage. The people cheered, their voices hoarse but filled with gratitude. They had found their hero, and in doing so, had rediscovered their own strength. Aron, the Dragon Rider, had risen from the ashes. His legend, once faded, was now etched in firelight for a new generation to witness. The age of heroes was reborn.